Hello, hello, it's Coach Lacresha Reno, and today is another lovely day, and we're about to spend a few minutes with a couple of question and answers. And I'm hoping that you guys will receive something from this, but I'm just going to give this disclaimer right off the bat. What I'm about to say to the questions that I received is probably not popular. Okay, but I do believe that it is the truth, and I do also believe that if you guys listen to what I'm about to say, that your relationships will get better, your life will be better. Okay, one of the questions that I received was from a dear friend of mine, and she was asking, is it possible to love multiple people at the same time? Okay, of course it's possible. It's no different than you having multiple children and loving them all at the same time. You don't choose if I'm gonna love junior 1 today and junior 2 tomorrow and junior 3. You love them all every day. So you can love an infinite number of people. The heart is an amazing thing. The capacity to love is unlimited. It's infinite. You can love everybody at the same time. The question that you're asking is not rather, though that's what you ask, the question that you're asking is not rather you can love multiple people at the same time. The question is really, can I love them the same, simultaneously? And that answer is an emphatic no. Um, I have been in situations in my life, and I'm sure that many of you who are, in your late to mid to late 20s and older can probably agree with this, or this will resonate with you, that I've been in situations and times in my life where I thought that I was in love with multiple people. I loved him and I loved him. Well, in one of those situations, I was given an ultimatum. And see, it's something, the beautiful thing about an ultimatum or putting a line in the sand is that your truth has no choice but to come out, because you don't have any other options. The option to lie, hide, manipulate, and all that stuff is gone. So now all that remains is your truth. So when the line is drawn in the sand, like one of the people did to me, is like, you're gonna have to choose. It's like, well, I can't choose. Well, you don't have a choice. You're gonna have to choose, or we're both basically gonna walk away from you. And then at that moment, you discover that you thought maybe you felt the same for them both, but when faced with the option of losing both parties, you find out that it's one of them you absolutely don't want to live without. Okay, now with that being said, because that's not a wonderful way, it's not a good way, it's not the highest way to build a relationship. With that being said, let me say this to you guys. When it concerns relationships, I want you to understand that every time there's a person outside of you in your life on any level, that is what a relationship is. I have the relationship of being a mother with my children. I have a relationship of being a grandmother with my grandchildren. I have relationships with my people that I work with, coworkers, with my freelancers, with my authors. We have all these relationships. We have relationships with our family. Your relationship with your sister is not the same as with your brother, and those two relationships are not the same as with your uncles and aunts. So we have all these different relationships, and I'm gonna tell you something. It can get confusing, because you know what? When it concerns family, that's like easy. It's like, that's mama, that's daddy, this sister, that's brother, that's aunt, uncle, this grandparents, grandpa, grandma. So all of them have titles, specific taught positions, right? But when it concerns your heart and your romantic relationships, it get kind of iffy, because you can be in a relationship with this person. Y'all are dating, y'all going out, y'all are sexually engaged, whether it's right or wrong, whatever the case may be. You're living together, you're married, but you're in a relationship with this person. You have feelings for this person. So y'all call, y'all text, y'all Facebooking, y'all Snapchatting, y'all Twittering, y'all tangoing, y'all, whatever, all this stuff that they have out now, right? So y'all are doing all of these things. Y'all see each other when you see each other or whatever. And I'm going to tell you something, guys. It doesn't have to be that it's sexual on this side either, but there is a real relationship here. And we have become people who are very who are very what's the good word for it? Because I don't want to use that word as far as possessive, because it's not just possessiveness. It's more than that. It's almost like we're very jealous about our positions, and we're very protective of the person that we're intimately involved with, but we have an unrealistic expectation. And this goes into question number 2 that I received, which is it okay for men and women, or for people of the opposite, to have friends of the opposite sex when they're in a relationship with somebody else, whether that be married or dating or whatever the case may be? Okay, so now again, this goes into this principle about this possessiveness, this jealousy, this protectiveness about the person that we're with. Here's the bottom line, guys. If I'm dating Sam and Sam and I are in love, he would be a fool and I would be a fool to think that neither one of us are going to have other relationships, So Sam might work at a job where there are male and female people. It's funny to me how we may not have a problem with our mate having a best friend of the same sex as they are, and discussing personal issues, but all of a sudden, because that friend is of the opposite sex, it seemed like the hair on the back of our neck stands up. We can't handle it. And I really believe that Western society has a lot to do with that. And I'm only gonna say this, guys, from the bottom of my heart. I can't prove it with like some scripture out the Bible, but I just know this through experience and just really through deep meditation. It's unrealistic and it's unfair to try to come into a person's life and actually completely close them in so that you are the only person that they can consider their best friend and the only woman in their life or the only man in their life, or you're building a really small place for a really big person. People are huge. You don't understand that. So you put yourself in a position that your relationship won't work. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Every problem that me and my husband have, he don't really need to talk to me about it. I mean, I don't need to talk to him about it because we wouldn't last very long. He has to have somebody outside of me where he can go and say, she is freaking crazy. Or I can go say, somebody outside of him, what is wrong with this man? And we have to grow up to a place of realizing that, number one, we don't have to sleep with everybody that we love. We don't have to sleep with everybody we're in a relationship with. And when that is a realistic thing for you, then you realize that, yes, I can have friends that's of a sex different from my own. Because, I mean, if it's really that deep, then maybe then I don't need friends at all, because we have lesbian and homosexual relationships going on all the time. So the sex of the friend is not the problem. It's the character of the person or the people in the relationship that's the problem. So if my husband works with a woman and he loves her, and that's another thing. Why do we not allow our person to come to us with their real truth? We say we want to know, but as soon as we hear it, we react in ways that's just not conducive to hearing the truth ever again. So he may have a woman at his job or at his church or at wherever he's always at, or at the gym, that he really likes or he loves. He appreciates her input. He appreciates her company. She makes him laugh, keeps him jovial. If you really love someone, shouldn't you want them to be the happiest that they can ever be? Now, I know some of you are saying you are a freaking fool because that's how people cheat and blah, 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 blah. If a person is a cheater, then a person is a cheater. Now, understand this. You must use wisdom. You must use wisdom, because everybody is not mature enough to be in that kind of situation. But then, do you really want to be dating someone who's not mature enough to be responsible with their emotional commitments to other people? Because here's the thing. You can't build a cocoon and just be you and that person in it. You guys will destroy each other. You will destroy each other. And I do believe that a real commitment is only real when it's a choice that each party makes, that no matter how far they go out there into the world over the course of time, they're at work, they're here, they're there, they're traveling all over the place, promoting books, music, whatever they're doing. They're here, there, everywhere, meeting all these people, but they always find their way home to you. That's commitment. That is commitment. You can't manipulate that, no matter what you do. I'm not telling you to move a whore into your house, a stripper, somebody who done slept with everybody else's man, that's just their character, and then, say, well, I should just be able to trust you. Use wisdom. Use wisdom, okay? But what I am saying is, let's stop pretending that you are all that that person is ever going to need, and they are all that you're ever going to need, because you're going to continue to find yourself in broken or dysfunctional relationships, right? So, going back to the questions, let me say this. You can love a lot of people. Your capacity to love is infinite. Should you be intimate with more than one person at a time? No. No, you shouldn't. However, if you do, that's your choice. I don't believe that that's responsible. I don't believe that that's a responsible use of your free will. Let me say that like that. People do it all the time. I just think that it comes with a certain kind of problem that if you have any kind of higher goals, it's going to get in the way. When you ask me if it's okay for people of opposite sex to be friends, sure it is. Does that mean that you should just go out there and haphazardly pick friends of the opposite sex? No, because there are so many people that cannot be trusted with your happiness because they're not happy. My thing is, never befriend people of the opposite sex with nothing to lose, with no joy, because miserable people have something about them that is so good at breaking up the joy of other people. Their misery, it seems like, infects everything around them. So if you're married and your friend is single, happily single, like they're really happy that they're single, not just saying it on social media because they don't want to admit that they're lonely and they're crying at night. But if they're really happy to be single and you're happily married, then y'all can happily be friends, okay? If you're married and they're married and both of you guys are happy, then happily be friends. One party being happy and the other one being miserable, no matter what situation they find themselves in, that can be a problem, and you need to put distance there. Also, always keep it open and honest. I will never be friends with a person who cannot be friends with my spouse. I'm just not going to do it. It creates a problem that I don't have time for, because at the end of the day, my commitment, my heart and soul commitment is to my husband. And if you're a man, to your wife. Never forget that. Never forget that, not even for a moment. And as long as you keep those things in mind, I don't see a problem. If you get to a place where you're in a relationship, friendship, relationship, where you start having problems and things start growing, you need to talk to your spouse about that. You need to put some distance there. You need to rectify that situation. But that doesn't mean that you just cast off ever having friends of the opposite sex, because you might very well miss what might be the biggest blessing ever for you. So I hope this answered you guys' questions. Be sure to like and comment and share. And if you have any questions, the comments below will be a perfect place to leave them. Or you can email me at lacresha.hayes@gmail.com. And don't forget, guys, to go by my website, look at my books, buy my books, okay? I love, and if you've read them, and a lot of you have, you've read them, I want to hear your feedback. I love feedback. Or you can leave it on Amazon. That would be even better. So it's www.lacreshahayes.com. Thank you guys for listening. This has been my time. Go have a very blessed and prosperous day. Bye.